Congratulations, graduates. I employ this moment to honor all of you. I honor the collective wisdom and lived experience in this space and the universe's particular alchemy which has brought us together. We are the great good news. This group, you and I, are the ones building and weaving community for the greater good. What I know to be true about what the last year has asked us to learn is that we now require, not just need, authentic and honest conversation and connection. Deep-rooted, soul-stirring connection is essential for our well-being. As PSU alumni, we will continue not to shy away from the harder conversations, because as we have seen in the last weeks, months, and years, we need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. We can be heartbroken. If we meet these moments in the spirit of love and justice, we will not only restore ourselves, but our world. Growing up, one of my favorite programs was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I would turn on the television, listen for the opening piano music, and wonder what color of sweater he would choose today. Mr. Rogers called for us to be better humans, not only to ourselves, but to others. He would often ask groups of people to take a moment and think about all of the people who had loved us into existence. The community who supports us, and able to get to this finish line so that we may begin anew on our next hero's journey. So please, in this moment, bring to mind all those who have loved you into this existence. As a political science and civic leadership graduate, I seek a pathway forward in creating community. As social creatures, we are called into community by building relationships. If we share in this work, having tenderness for ourselves and others, our collective effervescence will bubble and infuse our shared joy. One of the ways we do this is through listening. Poet Susan Stewart has said, "Hearing is how we touch at a distance." It provides us a way for us to understand, to be understood, to feel seen, and connect in our shared humanity. One of the biggest questions in civic life is how we live together. We need to understand that as citizens and PSU Coupa graduates, we have the power to be a part of the solutions and the futures we seek. We have the power to work with others and create influences on issues we care about. And we have the power to build bridges of knowledge and understanding. Presently, there's no such thing as someone else's problem. We have to exercise the power we have to engage in community. Simply put, our knowledge needs to serve the city. May our efforts be a work of art, a work of service, and a work of love.
2021 graduates. I must admit, I struggled with composing this commencement speech. The current political climate, the COVID-19 pandemic, instability both at home and abroad, and seemingly myriad other disruptors have complicated my ability to accurately reflect upon these past 4 years. Heck, we're graduating via laptop, a reality that I couldn't have even dreamed up a mere couple years ago. Amidst the constant uncertainty and turmoil, I can understand this moment may seem a little anticlimactic. It certainly is for me, and I've experienced a range of emotions gearing up towards this day. This doesn't change the fact, however, that we're officially college graduates. No small feat, and something each one of us should rejoice in. Some of us began this journey as freshmen, others as transfer students. I myself started here at PSU as a fresh-eyed 19-year-old kid, transferring in from Clackamas Community College. I remember quite vividly walking into my first class, USP 313, Urban Environmental Issues, a junior cluster course. A large class, I was amazed at the wealth of diversity and lived experiences amongst my peers. I immediately felt at home, reassured that I was in an environment that would help me grow not only as an academic, but as a human being. Sure, getting a degree is the reason we go to college. But the lasting lesson for me has been how much I've changed on a personal level. All of us are undoubtedly different than when we began this journey. The catalysts underlying these transformations, however, are different for each of us. Staff, professors, friends, family, classes, relationships, even the university itself. The commonality between us, however, is the individual, you. You succeeded, you struggled, you laughed, you cried, and you ultimately persevered. Class of 2021, we are finally here. Although an uncertain future awaits, all is well, and you have proven to yourself that you can conquer the seemingly unconquerable.
Saying congratulations to this year's graduating class is something that means something a bit different this year than in the past. You are graduating, having completed your degrees under what we might describe as adverse circumstances. For some of you, the loss from this year is even greater. You have lost family members or friends, or have been sick yourself. And we, of course, know that this year is not just about COVID-19, but also the murder of George Floyd by a police officer. We have witnessed, and some of you may have even participated in the largest civil uprisings I have seen across the nation in my lifetime, as people said no to more police violence against our Black community members. For some of you, COVID-19 and George Floyd's murder laid bare the deep racial inequities and injustice so many people in this country experience. For others of you, these events are merely examples of what you, your family, loved ones, and friends experience regularly. As you complete your degree programs, I will not tell you not to feel despair and anger. I feel this daily. Instead, I say to use it. In this last year, I have come to realize that the metaphors we use to talk about the work to end injustice no longer captures what I feel. We are not in a sprint or a marathon or a boxing match where we keep fighting. There is no competition with a winner at the end. Instead, this is simply life. And for so many of us, life is about struggle and need. But I know, because of the labor of some of our parents, grandparents, and other ancestors, that we can and do make progress, make life better for the next generation. I have decided to walk through this life, to experience its pain and beauty, and to work with intention and meaning. As you graduate and move on to new jobs, some of you will have opportunities you've never had before. Well, maybe in a few years after the job market recovers and you get past that entry-level job. And I ask you to join me and others in laboring against racial injustice. But you also, to do this work, need to find the remedy to the pain that we've experienced in this last year, not to remove it, but to simply ease it. And you will find that in joy. Love deeply, find beauty in the world, in community, and with one another. And then make sure that you laugh deeply, blissfully, and fully. There can be a lot of bad in the world, and I have found no better relief in the joy of family, friends, community, and knowing that I am doing something, sometimes small and sometimes big, to continue the legacy of working against racial injustice. Congratulations to the class of 2021.
Portland State University awards honorary degrees to acknowledge individuals who have achieved outstanding scholarship or artistic accomplishments or performed distinguished public service during their lifetime. It's my great pleasure today to present an honorary doctoral degree of humane letters to investment leader and social justice innovator, Rukiah Adams. Ms. Adams received a bachelor's degree from Carleton College, a Juris Doctorate from Stanford Law School, and a master's degree in business administration from the Stanford Graduate School of Business. Following a successful career as an attorney, Ms. Adams shifted to the world of investments. She returned to her hometown of Portland in 2010, running the $6.5 billion capital markets fund at the Standard. Ms. Adams has made exceptional contributions to the state of Oregon by extending her expertise to philanthropic and public investments. She is the former chair of the Oregon Investment Council, where she oversaw the board that manages the Oregon Public Employees Retirement Fund. Now, the chief investment officer for Meyer Memorial Trust, Ms. Adams works with the other members of her executive team to use special investments to shape social policy. Ms. Adams chairs the board of the Albina Vision Trust and serves on the boards of the Self-Enhancement Inc. Foundation and Oregon Public Broadcasting.
Thank you, President Percy. I'm grateful to be a part of this graduation ceremony. To the faculty, staff, parents, friends, and family, you are the village that raised these graduates with love and support. They've likely already thanked you, but I too would like to express my appreciation for your shaping the next generation of leaders. To the class of 2021, I'm honored to be a part of your journey, even if this isn't what you'd hoped for. Instead of the pomp and circumstance of graduation, we find ourselves here in a virtual space at a time like no other. Over the past few years, you've navigated the ordinary trials of college, enduring all-night study sessions, hustling from work to class to work to class, and for many, thinking deeply about how you'll repay the debt that funded your education. In these ways, you are like many classes before you, but in other ways, your experience is like no other. You have faced over 14 months of a pandemic and witnessed a racial reckoning in our nation's streets. Nonetheless, you, the students we honor today, persisted, completing a rigorous and demanding academic journey. Well done. As you leave behind institutional learning at PSU, you'll step into a new theater of learning that is much less structured, but the work that you will move into is equally rigorous, and the stakes may even be higher. This nation, perhaps the world, faces trials unprecedented in our lifetimes. To that end, I've been asking myself, what can the class of 2021 learn from similar eras in United States history? How can we encourage you to dive into the future when so much of it seems unknowable and uncertain? Over a century ago, a generation found themselves caught up in the twin tragedies of World War and the 1918 influenza pandemic that wiped out a third of the world's population. They were nearly the same age as you. What rose from that upheaval? So much, but two things stand out. One, an unrivaled generation of iconic writers, Gertrude Stein, Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald, the Harlem Renaissance, Zora Neale Hurston, Langston Hughes, along with jazz greats like Billie Holiday and Duke Ellington. And two, that wildly creative period known as the Roaring Twenties came out of that, when people reinvented nearly everything. Around that time, Art Deco splashed onto the shores in an explosion of geometric shapes, the Guardian Building in Detroit, the Chrysler Building in New York. Those buildings transformed their city skylines. Every time I look at structures like these, I see more than rock and stone. I see the resilience, the strength, the generation, and values of that generation reflected in the urban landscape. My point is that earlier generations faced massive changes. In many cases, they emerged stronger. The so-called greatest generation pushed through the Depression, fought heroically in World War II, and led the country into an era of unparalleled economic growth. But prosperity didn't unfold evenly. It never does. Despite the post-war boom, Jim Crow laws and redlining prevented African American families from buying homes. Storefront signs that read "No dogs or Mexicans" greeted returning Latinx soldiers who'd earned medals for bravery. Over 100,000 Japanese Americans wrongfully imprisoned struggled to rebuild their lives. Many of these unequal aspects of society remained when my generation, Gen X, arrived into adulthood. I was 17 in 1991 when I first saw the grainy video of LA police officers beating Rodney King. I'll never forget it. King was unarmed, face down in the street, and incapable of defending himself, just like George Floyd. After a jury acquitted the officers, 5 days of riots broke out. Homes, storefronts, businesses vanished in flames. While much of LA has been rebuilt, pieces of the torn urban fabric remain uninhabited to this day. When this video of George Floyd surfaced, I found myself sickened by the inhumanity and outraged that so little had changed. While those before us had focused on the built environment, Gen X, we zeroed in on the built community. We nudged social sciences and humanities to explore new ideas like critical race theory. We engineered the internet, which transformed our lives. Yet last May, we watched brutality repeat itself on our watch, on my watch, some 2 decades after Rodney King. The senseless death of George Floyd and others confirmed that my generation had not gone far enough to stamp out racism. So I ask you, what will your generation be known for? How will your highest ideals be reflected in the places that we call home? When all of us look back on COVID and the national call for social justice, will your generation have edged us closer to something better? Perhaps you'll reconceive the practice of historic monument and erasure, or you'll design new urban spaces that place a premium on public access so that personal wealth is no longer a prerequisite to enjoy our wild spaces. They say the strongest steel is forged in the hottest fires. Well, class of 2021, you don't need me to tell you that the world is burning hotter than ever. Whatever happens in the years to come, you've already made us stronger. Number one, we have been reminded of the primacy of science, but you'll be the ones to transform societies with it. You will be the entrepreneurs who solve the physics problem of energy storage, ending the fossil fuel economy and slowing global warming. You will be the scientists who solve the biology challenge of feeding more people on less arable land. You will be the greatest minds who tackle the chemistry of vaccine discovery, combating viruses that spread wildly in increasingly urbanized habitats. Two, we've begun to recognize the interconnectedness of humanity, made clear by our shared vulnerability to COVID. But it is you who will reflect this togetherness in policy, in collective decision-making, in the urban vernacular. And finally, and perhaps most vital of all, we have all witnessed the power of peaceful protest to transform societies. It has elevated the problem of systemic discrimination. We have come to know that America hasn't lived up to its founding ideals, at least not for all of us. We've seen the corrosive effect of denying the legacy of slavery. We know the nagging bruise left by the fight for suffrage and citizenship. We feel exhausted for pushing back against threats against enfranchisement. But you may be the first Americans, the very first Americans who live with the privilege of witnessing history, that precious moment when our country finally lives up to its founding ideals. By forcing us as a nation to pivot toward a brighter future and speaking truth to power, you've charted a path straight as an arrow toward becoming the greatest generation ever. With moral courage and vision and truth-telling, you can build a more decent, just, and verdant world for us all. It won't be easy. It never is. But we know the status quo just won't do. So as you move your tassels from one side to the other, let's dig in together, because we don't got next, we got now. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2021.
Congratulations, students, and especially the graduating MERP students. Here's your balloons, and a cat drawing with each of your names on it, just like we do in Zoom class. I'm so proud of you and your commitment, even in these hard times, to doing an amazing job on your MERP workshop projects. I'll see you as alumni.
Hello, PSU's graduating class of 2021.
Your CUPA advising team is so proud of what you've accomplished in your time at PSU.
You worked so hard to get where you are today, and your perseverance is inspiring.
We want to thank you for letting us be part of your journey. So from all of us to all of you, congratulations!
Class of 2021, what a proud day today is. We couldn't be happier for you. Congratulations on your outstanding achievement. I wish you the best as you step ahead toward new challenges in life. May all your other dreams be fulfilled and your success continue. Again, hearty congratulations. Well done.
Yay! Congratulations! You can go anywhere. You can do anything. You can come here to the Nestucca River National Wildlife Refuge, just south of Pacific City. Anything is within your reach. You have awesome potential. Congratulations!
Hello, and congratulations from me, Professor Melody Valdini, and all of the faculty and staff of your political science department. We're so proud of you and so grateful that we had the opportunity to work with you. Congratulations again, class of 2021, and keep in touch. We miss you already.
Hi everyone, I am Pranay Rai. I am an assistant professor of international and global studies in the College of Urban and Public Affairs, Coupa. We are so proud of you on your achievements. Congratulations on your graduation. Last year has been extremely difficult on all of us, in particular for you. So we are really proud of you for all that you have done, for your achievements, and we look forward to learning about your next steps. Know that we are always here to support you in all your future endeavors. Congratulations again.